This is a brooder. These are chickens trying to escape. This is a brooder. This is also a brooder. It's been a minute, I'm sorry, and to make it up to you guys, I'm gonna do the video that I said I was gonna do a long time ago, which is our indoor coop brooder. Meaning we no longer, well, that's a lie. We do have chickens indoors. They stay in my home office. I'll show you that here in just a second. But we're gonna take a look at our in-coop brooder. One of the reasons that I didn't make a video on our last indoor brooder, well, we had 3 incidents of snakes getting into our chicken coop. The first one you guys saw, and I did the humane thing and I relocated the snake. Pray with me that this giant, non-venomous, harmless, huge snake that I'm staring at right now doesn't decide to kill me. Took it down the road, and what I'm thinking happened is this snake, he told his little buddies, and he was like, man, this guy over here, he's super nice. He's on this Facebook group, and they tell him relocate all the snakes, and he relocated me, so he's just gonna be just fine if you go into the coop. Well, long story short, we had 3 more snakes get into our coop, got into the brooder where we had chicks, and we lost 3 chicks that were inside there. Now, part of that was our fault because we did move them out a little too soon. In my opinion, they probably could have stayed indoors a little bit longer, but now that I think we've got it down, we are a little bit more confident in the fact that no snakes have gotten in there in the last few weeks. We have not seen hide nor hair of snakes. We've also done some things to improve the perimeter of the chicken run itself. So we'll show you that here in just a second, but we're gonna go inside and we're gonna take a look at the indoor coop brooder. So we're back inside the coop, and this is actually where we had the old coop system, the old brooding system. You can see the remnants of it right here. We had the hardware cloth. We built little frames around it. What used to be here was an enclosed area where we framed this whole section out. We had a door here in the middle, and then we had all the hardware wrapped around it. But for whatever reason, the multiple snakes were still able to get through one of these areas, and it actually took 3 of our chicks, as I mentioned. So we had this Tractor Supply chicken tractor, little chicken run attachment, and we've been using that as kind of a chicken tractor outdoors to let these guys, when they were a little bit smaller, to go free range out on the pasture that we have. So we figured, hey, this is here, we need to use what we have. And so what we did was we actually lined the very bottom of it. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it, but let's move over this way. Hey guys, you can see we have our smaller guys in here, but you can see down here is additional hardware cloth. So underneath all of this is hardware cloth, and so now the bottom is completely enclosed with the top. We have the door set up, and so unless snakes start to get arms and legs, which would be a terrifying thought, these guys are pretty well secure, and we've done a pretty good job, I think, of keeping them safe. They haven't gotten into any trouble so far. We put these little pallets on top of it so that they couldn't lift this up at all. Of course, it has the latch. So this is our in-coop brooding system. Now that they are out here, they can actually start to integrate and mingle with the older birds. As you can see here, this kind of keeps them safe from getting pecked while they're in here, while they're still small. So we can come out here and we feed the chickens all at once. These guys get their own water and their own feed pan. And then we go let them mingle out here in the coop, supervised visits, if you will, with the older birds. And here we have our nest boxes where they can actually come in and just chill. We put this shade cloth over them so they can have a little privacy. You can see that there's a young lady right here. She just likes to hang out. She's cool. I think this is Big Mama. So this has been keeping the snakes out of it, the brooders at least. Who knows if they've been in here other than the fact that they may have taken an egg or not. But we're going to take you outside and we'll show you how we're trying to keep snakes out of the entire system itself. Now we're going to take you inside our chicken run, where I think we've done a lot better job of deterring any other predators from coming in, specifically snakes. We haven't had too much issues with anything else, no raccoons, no foxes, no possums, anything of that nature. But you can see, you can see right here above me, we actually added some netting. So this is actually connected to the posts and to the run itself, and we've got it all on the top. If you can see that, and it took my hat, so goodbye hat. So you can see here that we have the netting above, and this is supposed to keep all the predators that may want to climb in, or any chicken hawks that may try to get the birds. But we also have, if you can see right here, we have deer netting that is against the welded wire. Now the purpose of the netting is to try to keep any snakes from coming in through the larger holes, because we didn't want to wrap the entire chicken run with hardware cloth. That would get incredibly expensive. But we were able to get these big rolls of deer netting, which we then just wrapped around the entire perimeter of the chicken run, and of course the netting here above. So that's just been a few ways that we've been trying to keep the predators out of both the chicken run, the coop itself, and then the indoor brooder, which we now have about 6 birds in there right now. We're gonna go take a look inside what we have in my home office with the smaller chicks, which will then be transitioned out here into the indoor brooder. Kind of have a cycle going on where the ones inside the house go inside the chick brooder in the coop. The ones that are in the coop now will actually get to join the flock. So that is the in-coop chicken brooder, which will house roughly 10 to 15 small chicks, and we keep them in there for a few additional weeks before we start to integrate them into the flock. So having them in there again allows them to hang out with the older birds, but not necessarily be intermingled with them where they could potentially get pecked or harmed, and we certainly don't want that. So we at least get them with supervised visits inside the coop while the big birds are kind of going in and out. This was one of the first chick brooders that we constructed out of I believe it's a 50-gallon rubber tote that we picked up from Walmart for less than 15 bucks. We cut out this window right here so that they could actually see out into the world, and then that way when we approach the brooder, they would see us coming and they wouldn't get freaked out, have heart attacks, anything crazy like that. Pretty standard brooder in terms of what's in there. We have pine shavings, we have their food, and we have their water set up. Something I think that we do is a little unique than most people is we actually have a chicken cave. And instead of a heat lamp, because you'll notice there are no heat lamps attached here, we actually have this heat cave. And what's underneath that heat cave is a heating plate or a heating pad, which you'll see underneath this one. Underneath all that is a heating pad, and we keep that for them so that they can actually go into the cave. It's a little safe space for them to go away. That's where they get tucked in at night, and that's essentially all we do for our brooders. So we will end up keeping the chicks inside my office for a few weeks until they're fully feathered, until they're big enough and capable enough to go outdoors to the coop brooder. And as I mentioned, from there they'll stay in there for a few weeks, get mingled with the older birds until then we can fully integrate them into the flock. So far that's been a process that's worked well for us. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. And as always, please like and subscribe. We'd love to hear your thoughts. You guys, if you look really, really carefully, there is a snake right there. Holy cow. This is very, no, I'm just kidding. It's a piece of rope. See? Just some rope.